So a question we get a lot in this at this time of the year is, what green manures do you recommend? So what happens if you have a bed that gets emptied because you've harvested something? So in this case I'm removing courgettes, okay, like those. I've removed 2 beds worth of courgettes. One has been planted with baby turnips and radishes, and one would stay empty. So I don't want any uncovered soil, even if it's mulched. And what I'm going to do is plant some green manures. And if you have a no-dig garden, the green manure I really recommend is field beans, and that's like a broad bean which has been bred for nitrogen fixation and for quick, fast growth, lots of biomass. And it's a very, very good field bean. It's also been bred actually for cattle forage, to add protein to cattle, to not only cattle but to in general livestock diet. In our case it's good because when you cut it, whenever you don't need it anymore, and in fact that should be right after flowering in the spring or early summer, you can cut it to the ground and it will die. So it doesn't require any tilling, any digging up or stuff like that. Another green manure that I like to mix with field beans is mustards. And you can replace mustards if you have very cheap cultivated rocket seed. Rocket is a very good replacement because rocket grows, I'm going to show you, at this time of the year very well, and it gives you a crop, and then with the first frost it will either die or slow down. And this is the type of rocket I'm thinking about. It's cultivated rocket or Italian rocket, a very cheap seed, and it will cover the ground, create a crop for you, and the bits that you don't want, because you're gonna obviously plant a lot more perhaps than what you can harvest and eat or sell, and the ones that you don't use, you leave them there as a green manure. Very dense, very good root structure. The only thing is, if it goes to flower, it will start depleting the soil. It will start taking more from the soil than what it's putting in. So here, I like to do in a 75 centimeters bed 3 rows and mix at least 3 families, and we could do more than that, but it's not as practical. What I'm using is a zipper to do it faster. Another option is broadcasting seed and then covering with a sprinkle of compost on top, but I find doing a furrow saves me a lot of work in terms of compost addition. And then because I'm adding a third green manure here, which is black oats, I know that I will have to top this bed because black oats is a grass, and being a grass, it will mean that you need to kill it by mowing it down and then covering it. There are other options, but to be honest, the most practical one is this one. Topping it will mean that then you can leave a bit of residue on the ground, and the topping will transform that into compost to some extent. And so it saves you from applying compost now, because later in the year you might find that the soil has improved so much from the green manures plus their residue that you don't need to add a lot next year. And so black oats, a little bit more tricky because you need to top it. Field beans, and then here you can add either mustard, that will be killed by the frost, or rocket. That's also a dual purpose type of crop.